welcome to Wicked Wednesdays with Just Kaitlyn. I am here with the amazing Cynthia Luna Frost. She is conversing with us all the way from Sweden. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing super well. How are you?
I am amazing. So there is a 6-hour time frame difference between us right now. So you are 6 hours ahead of me here in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is fun.
Yeah, I'm already on Christmas Eve over here while you're at like the day before Christmas. So it's it's
Yes.
kind of odd doing it like an interview slash podcast or whatever you want to call this in the middle of the night. It's
I
different.
know. For you, it's in the middle of the night. For me, it's midday in the afternoon. It's like 6:11 here. We're there. I'm sure it's like 12:11. Oh my gosh. Gotta love that. So, Cynthia, you are the front personnel of Snow I.U. So, tell me about your musical journey as a musician in Snow I.U.
Oh, where to start? Wow. My musical journey do you want to know the whole package from like me as a person, or do you want to know from the start of the band in particular?
Both, if you would like.
Oh wow. My musical career started at like my own personal career started like when I was like 5 years old or something. I've always had it in my blood, so to say. My mom used to do a lot of singing back in the day, and my dad used to play like the ukulele or something. I can't remember exactly, but
Nice.
something like that. Mandolin, that's the one. Close enough.
Oh, I love the mandolin. I wish I could play it better. It sounds so beautiful.
It has a nice sound to it. But yeah, that's where it all started. And then as I grew up, I sang in like choirs for the church. I was always, because we had this like fair kind of thingy in town where I grew up. And it was, I think, 2 or 3 days of carousels and stuff, like a fair. And also some music, live performance, and a local talent show, so to say.
Nice.
I never participated myself because I had terrible stage fright.
Oh gosh, that happens to the best of us.
And I was also very afraid of, standing on a stage and just like thinking, oh God, am I gonna do this? No way I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
So I never took part in this whole talent show or anything like that. But I was always looking up to people who stood there like, why am I not on that stage?
Yes.
And then I kept going with that for a couple of years until the year 2008. This was a quick backstory to 2008 and everything. Back in 2007, this video game called Guitar Hero.
Oh my God, I love Guitar Hero.
Legends of Rock released, and that was like I don't know how to really put this, but that was the start for me. It was really the main thing that got me to like, as I was sitting there watching my friends play it, I was like, damn, dude, you're fast. You're playing on hard.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was sitting there thinking like, okay, I really gotta figure out how to do this. I got my parents to buy me the game and everything. I got it for my birthday and I started playing. And as I was sitting there watching these clips of terrible CGI and everything, playing the guitar and everything, I felt like, damn, this is what I live for. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after that, in 2008, I decided for myself that I'm going to start a band. And this was while I was still in grade school. I can't remember what year this was. This was 12 years ago now. Wow. But it was in grade school, and I brought together 4 guys back in the day. Not too serious musicians. We had a guitarist who barely knew how to play, a bassist who had never played the bass, and a drummer who was pretty decent, and then me on vocals. And we put this whole band together. We rehearsed twice.
Nice.
And then I went on a vacation to Thailand, I think, and then I didn't do anything else with it. I can't remember the details entirely, it's all blurry to me still to this day, if it was there or it was in a later constellation. Because I've been going through 20 plus members across my years. It's kind of hard to keep track. But initial starting was like 4 people in a little rehearsal in the music room at school where we rehearsed the stuff. And I thought to myself, the first thing, we need a name. And I was looking up band names on the net. I was thinking like Iron Maiden or something. What can I name it that is close to Iron Maiden, but not Man of Steel? No, that's already taken and stuff.
Yes.
So I was Googling through on the webs and I came up with a band name generator. And I can't remember the exact name, but it was like something including Black. I know that. So Black was one of the first names of the band along with Snow. So it could have been Snow Black or Black Snow. I can't remember. Because Snow
Nice.
has always been the main thing that's been, true to the band, so to say, and true to me as a person as well. So that was 2008. Forward to 2009, the members have quit the band, and the sole member left, and I'm starting to write my own concept, the concept of Atria that we still perform with today with Snow I.U. And between the years of 2009 and 2014, I went through another batch of members. I've been going through a lot of members, trust me. Long story. So in 2014, Daniel and I, the previous guitarist of the band,
Yes.
met up while we were actually out auditioning for another band in town.
Nice.
So after auditioning there, we got up and hooked up and got contact and swapped details and stuff. And we decided that Snow is going to be a side project. It's going to be an acoustic duo,
Oh, gotta love those.
So we like performed twice, I think, and we had a set of 4 songs or something like that. It was really, really awkward. 2 people just sitting at 2 chairs, never looking at the crowd and just playing. And then I met Philip, the drummer of the band, who's currently with us still, back in 2014 as well, because he was going to the same college as me.
Mm-hmm.
And he came into the picture, and we all of a sudden had a guitar, bass, guitar, drums, and vocals. So we decided in 2014 we're going to write our own material in the spirit of the concept that I had created the years past. So back in 2015 we had our very first gig. I think it was middle of January or something, so it was early. By that point we'd only performed or rehearsed like 3 months or something. So it's pretty insane. And so since 2015, we've been performing live with a guitar, drums, and vocals, no bass. So this was super awkward. Then in 2016, or the end of 2015 rather, we found a bassist who came in and recorded the EP with us and also performed a little bit with us live. And then we brought in another bassist. And we kept going like this from 2015's end till till present day. We've had a full lineup, which is very, very good. We've tried getting second guitarists in and keyboardists, but it hasn't really worked out. We're still on the hunt for these people, but the location we're in makes it kind of hard because all of the good musicians are already taken, it feels like.
Yes, well, you'll find them, like, honestly, like you have before with your prior members, it just kind of clicked, and you'll know whenever you meet them, like, hey, I vibe with your style or your sound, and you'll know that it'll mesh well with the group.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that you guys sound amazing, just like keeping your tracks. I love your music. Being a modern metal chica myself, it's nice to appreciate other love for metal music. And metal is such a broad genre of music. And I'm so happy and fortunate that I met you in the World Metal group because you are a badass chica. Now, I have to ask you, you're welcome, what artists inspire you?
Oh, wow. What artist inspired me? That's a tough one. How many do you want me to line up for you?
As many as your heart desires.
Okay, let me just Google up my Spotify list here,
There you go. I know.
No, but really, what started it all was Iron Maiden, really. I've always had Iron Maiden.
Run to the hills.
Wonderful.
Run for life. Sorry, I had to break down there.
Super cool. Love it. I think Iron Maiden was with me since I was like 7 or something.
Nice.
And then the band that started it all for me really back in the day was Magnum, which is a British hard rock group. My mom had a vinyl, I remember, with the album Vigilante, and she played it at home, and I was like, going at it like a kid I was, like standing and dancing and all that
Yes.
stuff, you know?
Yes, that's awesome.
That's the band and the album that started it all for me. And after that, it's always kept going. Iron Maiden, Blind Guardians, Sonata Arctica, these days Wild Path, hell, even Ailstorm to a certain degree. I've got inspirations from so many places. I have inspiration from folk music, traditional English folk music, British, Celtic folk music, Irish folk music, pretty much around the British Isles. Some Swedish folk music, some American folk music, classical 70s, 80s rock, metal, even some pop to a certain degree. I get inspiration from all over the place when it comes to music. That's why I can't sleep when I have music on, because I always like, yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like I'm
It's the
in an art.
cogs flowing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm in an art gallery. Like, oh, that one, yeah, that one in particular. I like the colors in that.
God, I love it. So you're like me. It sounds like you love the new artists, finding new music, keeping that musical genius brain flowing. I
Yeah.
know you touched on it a little bit, but what was the inspiration behind Snow I.U's name, like forming? Like, what made you choose Snow I.U for your group name?
And there's a lot of reasons, and I can't go through them all. Oh Lord, the reason for Snow I.U's name. Oh wow, it's such a tough one because there's so many reasons. Well, first of all, let's get it out of the way. I'm a winter person. I prefer the winter above everything else. I love when there's snow outside, so obviously it's for me. And pretty much the same thing now with my name and everything. Frost, I wanted to keep something chilly in my name, so instead of
Yes.
taking snow, I brought in Frost.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main inspiration for it, I would think. And then I have a couple of other more personal ones that I keep to myself that I don't tell anyone because it's secret and mystic and all that stuff.
Love it.
Um, then I have always had a big fascination with how snowflakes are not shaped necessarily, but how they're so microscopic you can only see them like underneath a microscope lens, and they
Yes.
still have such beauty, which pretty much serves the whole purpose of life itself. That you should always take pride and happiness and joy from the very small things in life, because many small things become a very big whole that is super beautiful and can be so much more.
Mm-hmm. I agree, honestly.
So that's like one of the big fascinations I have with the snowflakes, and therefore I wanted to bring that into Snow I.U as well, because then I thought, well, if I can bring that small particle and like almost on an atomical level, I can bring that into my own band and show the beauty of that in my art.
That's amazing. I love that. Honestly, that like tickled a small place in my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love the incorporation with the snowflake, because I agree, each snowflake is unique. No one snowflake is alike, just like every one of us in this world. I think that kind of brings more of an inspirational message. We all should love each other's uniqueness, love each other for who we are. I love
Yeah.
that so much. And
And
with your music, I have to say, I know you're all the way in Sweden. I'm here in Cincinnati, Ohio. How far has your music taken you? Like, where is the furthest you guys have performed?
Well, what the furthest is that it has taken us virtually, so to say, is pretty much all over the globe. I know that we have a very loyal fan base over in the States. So
Yes.
shout out to
We
all the
love
American
you.
people who love Snow I.U. We love you back just as much. We have a big following in the UK. Shush, shush. Not gonna tell you and spoil any secrets now.
Oh.
We got big plans for the UK in 2020, so keep in tune for that. What else do we have? We have a big following as well in Germany, of all places. So we got a little bit of followers out there, and we've also got New Zealand, Thailand. I think we have one or two. We have one in Africa, which is kind of insane. I'm still shocked about that.
That's cool.
And we have some in South America, Brazil and Argentina, I think. So we have
That
the
is
whole globe
amazing.
covered with Snow I.U now, which is kind of insane. So that's where it's taken us virtually. And physically, the furthest we've performed, we're still considered a small time band over here for some reason. Don't ask me why, but it's gonna change with a new record that is coming out in the spring of 2020 that we're already recording. We've recorded the instrumentals, and now it's just the vocals left. Um, I would say, where is the furthest we have gone? Well, do you mean live gigs or do you mean recordings?
Either, honestly, with gigs and recordings.
Gigs, it has taken us about 2 to 3 hours away to Varberg, which is a place 2 to 3 hours away from here. It's still in the southern part of Sweden, but it's northwest of our location where we're at currently. Recording wise, it's taken us to Stockholm because that's where we recorded instrumentals for the coming EP.
Nice. I can't wait to peep the new EP, by the way.
It's gonna be amazing. It sounds so good instrumental wise, and that's why I want to take some extra time to finish up the vocals and make them as perfect as possible. Because then, when it's finally out and people finally get to hear it, they'll get the whole package and see just how Snow I.U has developed over these past years. We haven't released anything new since 2018, so the leap 2018 to 20, that's 2 years difference. That's a lot of time. And that's going to be mirrored in the concept and the actual sound of the whole thing. Hence why we're also switching up the image for the next year.
Really?
Yeah, we're switching up the image entirely for next year's tour. Right now you have the whole metalheads with studs and lots of jewelry on my part and lots of like denim and leather, that kind of thingy.
Yes.
Toss that out of the window for next year.
Oh.
We're not going naked now, mind you.
Okay.
It's going to be different, and it's going to be a very unique twist to the whole metal genre, I think. It's going to be unique for Snow I.U, and it's going to be something that people haven't seen in this grade before.
Well, I can't wait to check you guys out. You're amazing. I can't wait to see the next direction you guys take. So I do have to ask, I know you've said several artists have inspired you, but if you were to pick your top 5 favorite artists, bands, musicians, who would you choose?
The cogwheels are spinning, that's why I went silent immediately.
Oh, yes, I know. You don't have to limit to just 5. You can say as many as you would like.
Well, it's hard to pinpoint, but as said, Iron Maiden, definitely, and more specifically, Bruce Dickinson, the lead vocalist since back in the day and now, has been a very big inspiration to me, and I really, really enjoy his lifestyle because he's a Renaissance man. He does everything from piloting friggin' airplanes to doing readings and seminars on the side, and while fronting one of the biggest metal bands in the world. It's kind of insane, you know.
That's amazing.
So Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden, that's one. I count those as one. I gotta say Nightwish as well. Nightwish,
Okay.
Tarja, Annette, and with Floor Jansen as well. Because I don't think there's a band who has had a bigger impact on me sound-wise, because every time I listen to Nightwish, I get kind of an orgasm.
I feel that.
It's like there's so much sound. Everything is complete. I have this thing, it's a pet peeve of mine, specifically. I think that whenever I hear a song, and the best example is accidentally, and this is not a good thing, by the way, mind you, this is not a good thing, so please don't follow this concept, but if you listen to Metallica's The Shortest Straw, you'll definitely hear what I mean. There's a silence going in the background. It's like there ought to be something that fills the void there. I can't really put my finger on it, and no one else can, but there's a big silence in the background. Not for me. I want sound everywhere. No silence, no nothing. I don't want anyone left out or any instrument left out. Why not fill that room with sound is my personal philosophy. Therefore, the symphonic metal genre, and Nightwish in particular, really herded me into that kind of genre and that kind of mindset, I suppose.
Yes.
So Nightwish is one. That's 2. Another band from France, I think, Wild Path, follows the same path, but they're taking it up 3 steps. Their compositions, their arrangements, their whole... It's insane. Listening to that stuff, 1 hour of that and you're tired. If you want to go take a nap. That's how bad. That's how much sound there is. There's so much stuff in the background, and I love it.
That's amazing.
Then I gotta go Sonata Arctica from Finland, because Tony is one charming goddamn frontman, I gotta say.
Yes.
And I'll give you a fun story, actually. A little bit of a tale for me, if you will. It's that when I first heard Sonata Arctica back in the day, I wasn't a big fan at all. I didn't like them at all. I thought, no, this is, as Tobias Sammet, this is not my words, would call it pussy metal. It's weak metal. There's no real power and punch to it.
Yes.
Then I saw them on a bill for Sweden Rock Festival back in the day. I think it was 2012, 2013 or something. And I figured, okay, I'll give it a chance live. I've heard 3 or 4 songs, never been impressed, but I'll give it a chance. There's nothing else to see. So I went there and it blew my mind.
Amazing. Seeing music live is completely different than hearing it just on like a vinyl. Vinyls are amazing quality in my opinion, the most authentic, but like actually seeing them live, you can see like the message, the energy, the feel behind the song itself and what the band's trying to portray with that song in particular.
Yeah. So that's when I fell in love with Sonata Arctica, and from that moment on, I've been having as a tradition every time I take train, the bus, or any way or shape or form traveling to and from Sweden Rock Festival, I blast Sonata Arctica all the way up there. So that's been a tradition of mine since I saw them live because, yeah, why not?
That's awesome.
Every
That's
driver on the
amazing.
road that drives by me, when I have my windows down and everything, they're getting pissed off every time because they know, okay, there she is again with Sonata Arctica.
Ah! You gotta love it. It's like me. I'm always jamming my music when I'm at stoplights. I'm like always shaking my head or singing along with it. And I think it's the funniest thing to see like cars next to me. They're looking like, what is she doing? But, you know, we're just feeling it out. I guess that's the rocker side of us coming out.
Yeah, I usually say that whenever I'm in the car, you get a free concert ticket.
Yep, there you go. That's awesome. So I have to ask, is there any local talent that you would like to shout out there in Sweden?
There's a lot of local talent here, considering the fact that I'm hosting my own festival, Snowfest.
Oh,
That
nice.
is targeted specifically to the local audience and the local hometown because, quite frankly, this town is pretty much a dead zone these days. Next year is going to be even worse because we have a partner. It's an organization that is pretty unique to Sweden, I think, which gets state funding and then it also gets communal funding, and then it splits all this money and all this funding between all the I shouldn't say organizations, but it's called a circle, where you have a circle for studying.
Yes.
And doing that as a band means that you're 3 people or more and you're having the circle and you get some sponsorship in form of economical help, like rehearsal rooms, studios, everything in between heaven and hell pretty much that it comes to music, they can help with if they have the resources for it. But their funding is going down by 50% next year, so they've actually copped out of the Snowfest idea.
Aww.
So I'm on my own with Snowfest next year, but as said, Snowfest is where the local talent is at, and because of these people, I've also gotten to see a lot of local bands that are very talented. I've also brought a lot of them on the stage. Local talent that I want to do a shout out to. I can do so many. How big of a band and how local do you want?
Let's go with just we'll do local bands of any size. Talent can be any scale, as far as like amateur or like local bands that have made it bigger and gotten record deals even. Whatever you would like to shout out.
In my town, in my genre as well, that's a hard one because we don't really. We've had a couple of bands that have reached the higher stages, but
yes,
not a whole lot of them in metal. I think there was 1 or 2. One of them actually split a couple of years back. Well, let's go with a couple of them then. Wisdom Given is a band that we've been working a lot with. They played at the last edition of Snowfest. I'll also go with Heretic Legion, actually not super local to my town, but close enough because they're really nice dudes and they're really rocking it. I would also do another shout out, but which band though? That's the problem. I have so many bands in my mind. Okay, let's do a shout out for Black and the Blood as well while we're at it. Because these guys have been performing with us in the past. We actually did a double gig with them, kind of thing, a mini tour if you want. We did 2 gigs in 2 days with these guys, and where I hosted one of them, and another one was because they wanted the best bands to the venue in order to stay at the venue, so they brought us along with Black and Blood and another band. So we really got to experience that together as well, which was super nice. So Wisdom Given, Black and Blood, and which one was the second one? God damn it. Wisdom Given, Black and Blood, and I forget the third.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Heretic Legion, there we go. Heretic Legion, Black and Blood, and Wisdom Given. Those are the 3 that I would want to do a shout out to.
Amazing. And I'm sure that they're honestly like very thrilled that you're giving them shout outs. I definitely will have to check them out because I haven't heard their music before, but I'm definitely intrigued to, as should the listeners and viewers out there too. Go check out these amazing artists. So is there any like friends or family you would like to give a special shout out to out there?
I can do a couple actually, to a couple of people that have given me not a boost in my career really, so I'd say maybe a boost as well, but are there for me whenever I need them. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Oz Hall/Peterson in Gothenburg, the founder and guitarist of the band Ozukaru from Gothenburg, a melodic rock band. Super good guy, super talented guy, and he's been such a big influence on me in my life because I listened to their stuff back in the day, and when I finally got in contact with him, I kind of got a fangirl moment. But I also, when I finally got to talk to him, it was like we clicked immediately, and we've talked a lot since then about music business and career choices and everything, because his wife is actually a manager for the band and has a management company, which is pretty cool. Nice. So we've been talking a little bit about that as well, and we're sharing ideas, tossing things back and forth. So a big shout out to Oscar from Ozukaru. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Ted Egger from Beaufort, who is always there for me, looking out for me, who has a lot of tips and a lot of wisdom to share with me that I've taken to heart, and thanks to him, I am more sure about my career choices in the future. 2020 is looking very good for me. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you to you, Tad. And I also want to give a shout out to actually someone who's pretty new. I met her last Monday for the first time. Ernika Mancini, I think she says her last name. She is the frontwoman and lead vocalist of the band Thundermother from Sweden.
Nice.
And the reason I want to give her a shout out is because I was at a seminar/workshop this Monday with her that she was hosting. It was her first seminar ever, and I was blown away by the detail and how much she just inspired me to keep going and just do whatever it takes to reach the top, because that's what it is in the end. So big shout out.
Nice. Well, I love all the love. Well, I actually am going to take a 5 and feature one of your amazing tracks in Snow I.U. We're going to listen to The Lone Wolf. All right, so we're going to peep that, and we will be right back. Just Kaitlyn, be back in 5. Yeah.
Take it away, guys.
Hey! Hey!
All right, we are back here, Wicked Wednesdays with Just Kaitlyn, here with Cynthia Luna Frost. We just peeped the amazing track, The Lone Wolf. I have to ask Cynthia, what is the message behind The Lone Wolf?
The message behind The Lone Wolf is a tough one. It is, because it has a lot of meaning to me personally. As you hear the title, The Lone Wolf, it's about, since we're writing from the concept that I created back in 2009, this is pretty much the start of the whole concept. It's in the beginning of it anyways, where we get introduced to the main character, the Lone Wolf. Mm-hmm. The Lone Wolf is a 22-year-old male who has been pretty much cast out from society as a whole. He's kind of, I don't want to say forgotten his past, but he doesn't know his past too well. Because, as foreshadowed later in the concept, he's spent 22 years in the wilderness growing up as a child of the forest.
Nice.
And because of this, when he finally gets to the main city of the land of Atria, Exceldior, or Exceldior if you want to, I don't know how to pronounce that on my own pretty much, but Exceldior is the one. He meets a lot of opposition to where he's from and where his past lies. So instead of getting a warm welcome as he thought he would get, he gets cast out. He goes into the gutter and is trod upon, he's spat at, and he's called things that no human should ever be called. And when it it finally dawns on him that this is my life now. I need to get out of here. All of a sudden, in the middle of all of this, a big battle starts in the city of Excelsior, the capital city of Atria. And the lone wolf is pretty much the embodiment of all of his emotion, all of his feelings, but also from the perspective of other people who are looking into what is happening with this person. Instead of being this weak boy from nowhere, he turns out to be quite the super soldier. He's fighting and fending off these troops and forces like a madman. He's fighting blindly in a fury, releasing all of his rage and all of his past emotions onto these enemies. But for what reason? No one really knows. So they look at him for aid, but what aid could someone who doesn't have a past bring to him? And also, that's the story of it. So let's go on a little bit why it is a very personal song to me. That is because I always write the songs. When I write a lyric and a title and stuff, I write the songs from a third person perspective. I write it as if it's not me or my emotions. It's someone else out in the field, so to say. It's someone who's out there. I'm just a storyteller. But when I wrote Lone Wolf, I wrote this song in 5 minutes. Which is kind of insane. I haven't changed a single lyric line since the beginning in 2016 when I wrote it, and it's 5 minutes. But when I look back at this lyric, back in 2017 or something, I thought to myself, okay, I was reading through it. Then it dawned on me, all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, like a blinding flash of light. Like, oh my God. I've written about myself without knowing it.
It's amazing.
This is reflecting everything I felt back in the day from 2009 to 2014. This has reflected me. And this is pretty much reflecting my life. What? I sat there like, wow, this is insane. I was looking through the lyrics and that is that moment of my life. That is that moment of my life. I pieced this thing together until I can string out, oh, so this is where it's at. And also the whole lone wolf lyric and theme of it, being alone in a world full of everybody else who doesn't like you and doesn't know you. That's pretty much the story of my life.
I feel that.
Because I've always been a person who has been very heavily into DIY, do it yourself. And my motto has always been that do it yourself because no one else is going to do it. Because if I had people tell me that they're going to do stuff and they're not doing it. So I've always done things myself. And if someone else has done it, well, I've already done the work for you. So
yes.
So that's pretty much the story behind a lone wolf in very short detail. I can give you a very detailed description another time while we're not recording, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
That's amazing. Well, Cynthia, I've definitely enjoyed our time here on this live broadcast. Again, all the way from Sweden here to my home in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you so much for participating. I want to say also I appreciate the lovely new music. I can't wait to check out all these amazing artists. Well, we are out. Wicked Wednesdays with Just Kaitlyn. I want to say farewell to Miss Frost over there in Sweden. Until we bid adieu. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, you too. Bye.
Bye.